James Gunn was recently asked to talk a little bit more about the development of Superman Legacy, his script, and of course, how does he know that this script is going to be good? Who's monitoring him and making sure that he's making the right choices? And he provides an answer. So people still don't understand how this works, right? It's kind of amazing. A lot of these cinephiles, film experts, and film bloggers slash YouTubers just assume that James Gunn is literally the only man in charge and nobody's giving him notes, which doesn't make sense because this isn't how it works. This is never how it works. It never has worked like this, especially when it comes to the development. You hand in a script, tons of people look at it, from comic writers to other people working on other projects to people that hired you, and they got to make some tough choices, sometimes to cut out things or change elements. This always happens. So James Gunn revealed, yes, he handed in a script, but that doesn't mean that that's the final script. It's going to go through multiple hands, from people working on comics, people that know Superman, and people that are also looking at the bigger picture and what they've talked about, and that this will ultimately dictate what the final draft looks like when they start shooting. Now, we don't have any ideas of who these people are, but I think it's pretty easy to figure out that, like, Tom Taylor, for example, is probably one of these, because of course he is, right? That just makes sense. There's probably some other people in there. Grant Morrison, I would assume, is probably going to have some sort of hand in something DC going forward. And what they do with the likes of Supergirl down the road, James Gunn will have a hand in it. But whoever does that is going to have to go through James Gunn and some of these same people that are writing the comics. So it's just sort of the same thing we've talked about before. It's not a one-man job. It never is. You know, we see tons of directors that get hired, and a lot of people say, well, the director did a good job. But they choose to ignore and forget that the writers gave the director a script. So when they blame a director for a terrible movie, it's not always the director's fault because they were following a script that was also changed many times by different people. We've known this, for years now, for decades in some cases, depending on how long you've been following film. So it's not surprising, but I'm glad James Gunn is like, yeah, I handed it in. Now it's going to go through some revisions through some people that know this stuff, which, again, is a good confirmation by him that he's not a solo man working on this, which many people believe he is.